Right now, what is the present scenario? Uh, Only two industries that are reserved for the public sector: atomic energy and rail transport. So the other industries are taken by private industries, and it comes. They've been. These are the two industries which are there with the government. Total number of PSUs are 220, and they are in operation. 158 are earning profits and 62 are incurring losses. The number of big businesses houses have increased from 2 to 80 since 1951, giving rise to concentration of economic power. To restrict the monopoly practices, Competition Act was enacted in 2002, replacing MRTP Act 1969. Now this is what the scene today is as on now. Now we'll start and try to understand what small scale industries are. Now, what is the role of small scale industry? Why is it important? What role does it play at an individual level? Contributes 8% of country's GDP. 45% of manufactured output of India is from this sector. Contributes 45% to India's total exports. It produces 8,000 value added products. It employs 40% of workforce in India. It maintains a consistent growth rate of 10% annually. Now, all sectors or all sections, whether it's large, small, medium, they contribute to the GDP in their own way. This is consistent. The small sector companies, people are coming up with small industries because probably they have the skill, the investments, the labor force, everything which falls into place. And it's a little better or easy, if you may say so, to set up a small industry. Then the total exports come from these industries, and that is around about 45%. Now, the value added products means products which have a lot of gain in returns, in terms of returns. There are 8,000 of these kinds. It employs 40% of the workforce. Yes, large scale industries, if they have mechanization and good technology and machinery, so they would not employ so much of that labor force. So what they do is, over here, small scale industries can employ all kinds of workers, skilled, semi-skilled, both types. So it employs 40%. So this is the role of the small scale sector, and there's a consistent growth. There's a gradual, smooth, comfortable growth of 10% annually. That is one thing which is very good in the small scale sector. Now, what are the objectives of developing a small enterprise? What does the country benefit from it? What do the people benefit from it? So both sides, if you see, will try to understand that. Reasons for developing small enterprises in India can be enumerated as follows: to generate large scale employment opportunities. Now, there are certain semi skilled workers who aren't getting jobs in large factories or large industries. So, this kind of workforce where they become jobless. So, there are some semi skilled, there are some normal workers which are required in these small industries to do the jobs. So, to generate large scale employment opportunities for unemployed speedily, now in a proper way, little faster and relatively low investment. Investment should be low, and the workforce you've employed also should be reasonably good to eradicate unemployment problem. Now, unemployment, if it is there, the country's economy falls down, goes behind very badly, and to get up to that normal level is very difficult. You are seeing now with the pandemic happening, there is a lot of unemployment, or in all around the world. There's a global crisis. So, unemployment, if the bar is raising in every country, it's a cause of concern because everything falls apart because of unemployment. To encourage dispersal of enterprises, to all over the country, covering rural areas, smaller towns, and economically backward regions. Now, these small sector units, as the government does give some facilities wherein they have these investments which are scattered in rural, smaller towns and economically backward areas. Now, the enterprises, the setting up of these small scale industries needs to be done in all the areas wherever it is required. It shouldn't be concentrated in one particular area. So, dispersal of enterprises means building up of these small scale enterprises covering rural areas and smaller towns and economic backward regions also is one of the motive of the small scale sectors. To bring backward regions too in the mainstream of national development. Now, there are regions which are far behind. If you talk about certain places, Khed, Shivapur, Nanded or Jejuri, Saswar, these places were a little backward, but now there have been industries which have set up in these rural places, and the building up of these industries has made a revolution in a way, the way people think, education, standard of living, there's a little bit of comfort which has come with it. So it builds to the national, it contributes to the national development. To promote balance, to promote balanced regional development in the whole country. Now there needs to be a balanced regional development. Means every region has been taken care of, taken into consideration, and has been spoken about in a way where these industries can open up their plants and business can be done on a better way, in a better way. So as a whole in the country, if all the regions are taken care of, then there is a balance. To ensure more equitable distribution of national wealth and income. Now there's too much of poverty in some places. Some states are backward, some states are moving forward, some states have a lot of flow of money, inflow of wealth and power. Some are education wise lagging behind. So there is an imbalance created. So what happens is there is an equitable distribution of national wealth. The wealth is equally distributed and the income is also there for these people, and generation of income is there in these small scale industries. To encourage effective mobilization of untapped resources of the country. Now there are various resources, economic resources, natural resources, human resources, which are there in the country. They have to be tapped in a proper way and they have to be utilized, and mobilization should be there to encourage the growth of the country. To improve socio-economic conditions. Now the social-economic conditions also have to be taken care of, and the standard of living. All what is being done and said is for the better standard of living of all the countrymen uh, in that particular country or in that particular nation. So this also is a very important aspect wherein the socio-economic conditions have to improve so that the basic standard of living of the people of the country improves. To seize the vast opportunities created for small enterprises. Now to catch hold to these small opportunities which come our way and make it bigger in a way where employment is created, where there is a lot of income coming, standard of living is being bettered every day. Now, due to liberalization, globalization policies of the government of India. Now, globalization policies is how smoothly globally are these policies viable. Liberalization also is there from the government point of view, where the policies are liberal and they are global also, to help earn for vital foreign exchange. Now, foreign exchange is definitely a must for any country because it adds to our income, to our profits, to the betterment of the country. So, to help earn vital foreign exchange for the country through exports. Now, how do we get this foreign exchange? Through the exports of goods. We have already spoken about this. services of small enterprises. Now, there are certain services which these small enterprises are providing. As I said, 8,000 value-added products are there. So, from these, so many products are of export quality. So, when there's export quality given by these small-scale industries, there is an income which is generated and there's money coming back to the country. So this is like foreign exchange, which is coming through the small scale sector or the industries or the enterprises. To bring more revenue, now to bring more income revenue to whom? To the central government, state governments by way of taxes. Now if they get revenue and the central government, so they can put in all of this money what they have got in projects which are uh, more for the people. Various projects they can think of. They can have these waivers which they can give to farmers. They can help people during calamities, any calamities. So this revenue is a must for uh, unforeseen circumstances. Now the state also, if at a particular state, if they get some revenue, so this revenue the state can automatically utilize for things which are happening in that particular state, for the betterment of the state, for the betterment of their people. In how, in which way? Through taxes. So to bring more revenue to the central and state governments by way of taxes. Now, why we need social sector industries, small sector industries? For employment generation, for balance regional growth. Regional growth also needs to be balanced. Every region is taken into consideration and there's a balance. When there are small industries, there are employment opportunities, there is equality, there's equitable income and distribution of income happening. Mobilization of local resources. There are certain local resources which are there available. So there is justice done to these resources through their mobility. Export promotion. Export is promoted largely for consumer surplus. Now, if there is more demand for from the consumer side, so the consumers are provided or given uh, through the small scale industries for development of entrepreneurship. Now, entrepreneurship also develops through these small scale industries for large scale employment with low investment. Now, employment also is done at a very large scale in these small scale sections, but with low investment. So, for that, we need industries which have an investment which is probably less than 25 lakhs or 5 crores to 10 crores, whatever you may say, but it's something minimum, not more than what is being required in large scale industries for attaining self-reliance and self-dependence. Um, this is something again is said that our Prime Minister is insisting and very persistent about it, that Atmanirbhar. So this is basically we need to be self-dependent and self-reliant as a country and not depending on other countries, because you may never know how the situations change, how the dynamics changes in the world. So this is a very important thing. And if the produce is locally there through via the small scale industries, so we can attain this self-dependency in a much better way. For ensuring equal distribution of income and wealth. Equality in distribution of income and wealth is very important. As a nation, we need to think about everybody needs to be treated in an equal way. They have a right to live the way we live, and we should be helping each another as in for the nation or the people living locally to grow. So that's one way of wealth and poverty can be eradicated and wealth can be equally, income can be equally distributed. Now there are two kinds of small scale industries, manufacturing and services. Micro, small and medium. We discussed about micro MSMEs, micro, small and mediums. The scope, what is the scope of small sector industries in different sectors? Now it is in three industries basically: the manufacturing, services and the trading industries. Now manufacturing industries, which are the manufacturing industries? Village and cottage industries. These are carried on in homes of workers, use local resources, use local market and local skill. Now, people doing businesses or small things, what they do in their own villages, locally produce and locally sell, locally use, local skills. So these are village and cottage industries. So these are manufacturing at that level. That's at the village rural level. Handlooms, handicrafts, that is also manufacturing. They include artisans. Artisans means were very good in art, designing, architecture, skilled craftsmanships, weavers, all of those, handlooms, whatever we get. This comes into handlooms and handicrafts. Now, trading. Trading industries, we know there's a market, there's a wholesaler, there's a retailer, and there's a agent, commission agent. Now, the wholesaler is a person or firm that buys large quantity of goods from various producers or vendors, warehouses them and resells to retailers. Now, wholesaling is done on a very large scale. The investments is quite huge. Now, if you all see in Pune, basically, market yard is the biggest wholesale market for anything, consumable items, a lot of food items. If you all see, there's a huge market. So there are wholesalers sitting who are selling in bulk. They don't believe in selling one item. It's like one item, but which runs into thousands and lakhs, which can fetch them thousands and lakhs. So there are wholesalers. Retailers are those shop owners who get these items from the wholesalers. They don't have warehouses. These retailers don't store bulk like the wholesalers. So the wholesaler's job is basically to sell it to the retailers. Now the business or person that sells goods to the consumer as opposed to a wholesaler or supplier who normally sell their goods to an other business. So this is a person who directly sells to the consumer, the retailer. We go to retailers to get our stuff, to get things what we need on a regular basis. So these they are not like wholesalers or suppliers who sell their goods to another business. Now, what are these commission agents? They thrive in a variety of businesses. Means there are variety of businesses they are living on. International agents work in export import area. Insurance and real estate agents also often work on sales based commissions. We've seen insurance agents, LIC agents. We've seen real estate agents wherein we have agents who, when we want to buy houses or we want to have them on lease or rent, so they are these real estate agents. And international agents is when you want to import and export. So this is the trading industry. Now the service industries, professional services. What are the professional services? They are absolutely skilled. So this is the law, medicine and accounting. I mean, their certification, they have a whole process. The whole journey of education is very strict and as per the rules and norms of the government. So, law, medicine, and accounting. You cannot become a doctor unless you've given certain exams, certain sections you've passed through. Commission services is transport, warehousing, go downs, repair shops. So these are the commission services. Personal services, uh, I mean, if I want to go and buy a few clothes for myself, so there are fashion shops, dry cleaning, ironing and dry cleaning. So these are personal. They are providing, giving you personal services, beauty parlors, all of these. So this all comes into service industries, that is professional services, commission services and personal services. Now, what are the advantages of small enterprises? They are basically the backbone of the industrial activity in the country and are playing a very important role in improving the socio-economic conditions of the people, we have already discussed. They create great employment opportunities through labor intensive processes and thereby help in tackling the unemployment problem. So the unemployment problem in a big way can be tackled through um, the small scale sector. They have low gestation period and thereby expensive final resources are not unproductively for long periods. They can be set up easily. Their setup can be easily done in rural and backward areas. because the investment is low, the labor is available, easily available, the transportation is not much of a problem, the infrastructure also is not much of a problem. They need small local regional market, so everything is at a small level, so it's a local regional at a village level. In a village it's all local, regional, small. They encourage growth of local entrepreneurship, so local businesses are promoted. Again, I'm saying, think local, buy local, push local. They create decentralized pattern of ownership. So there's decentralization of ownership in this section. They foster diversification of economic activities. They foster diversification of economic activities. The students, if there can be a question asked on what are the advantages of these small enterprises. So you all can write this as points and elaborate on each of these by giving your own examples and through what I have explained. They innovate and introduce new products, particularly to cater to local needs. Now, there's a lot of innovation and introduction of new products happening. If you all see in villages also, there are certain children or youngsters who are innovating such things which you have never even thought of, because there are ideas which are coming up. Only the problem is that these people are they are deprived of all these facilities because they don't know where to go and how to go about it. And so they particularly cater to local needs. They influence and improve standard of living of local people. Now, with another example also, the places in certain villages where irrigation facilities and how farmers grow their crops and what kind of fertilizers, herbal fertilizers or insecticides are used. So this is one kind of innovation which is done locally and produced locally. So this is a very good thing. We are not depending, we are not harming the nature, but we are protecting nature also in a way. They provide equitable dispersal of enterprises throughout rural and backward areas. So these are the advantages. More so, if you all see the need, the importance and the advantages come on the same lines. It is just you need to know and how to tap, how to go about it. So these are the advantages of small enterprises. The steps in setting up SSIs are: preliminary stage, basically scanning of business environment. It's at the beginning of the stages, scanning of the business environment, selection of idea, what am I going to come up with, deciding organizational structure, how am I going to structure it, what is going to be my organization, then project appraisal, selection of location and site. Before selecting location and site, I have to have it on paper. What am I going to do? How am I going to do? What is the investment required? How, what idea? What is it going to give me? The gains. Next is the implementation. Now putting all the planning. As I said, poor planning does not lead to success of the organization. So what is the implementation stage? Implementation stages. Now you need to procure some licenses from various organizations and from the government to set up your industry. It's not that easy. You have to have your paper in place and they have to be all legally right. Then arrangement of finances. Now sometimes you need loans to set up small industries. You have your private investments, personal savings, but you need certain credits. Now certain credits what you get from banks, they provide interest rates. So this all has to be taken care of. What loan and what are going to be the returns? How am I going to go about it? Power and water connection. Now all industries, this is something very important. Power and water supply, mostly 99% is a must. You need to be located in such a place where these two things are um, permitted and they are easily available. Next is recruitment of personnel and training. Now sometimes you need trained workers. Sometimes you need to provide training to these semi-skilled workers for the jobs which they are going to be allotted in your industry. So this also is like at this stage, implementing stage. Now raw material procurement. Now raw materials have to come on time. They have to be delivered at the set time, as well as they have to be in proper condition, good quality. so that the products coming out of that are also of excellent quality. Marketing and profit generation. Now, marketing and advertising plays a very important role in today's times. And if this is not in place, your products are not going to reach to the target consumers. So, marketing is a very important role. And all what we do, mind you, students, all what we do, setting up a business is not for charity always. Sometimes, mostly people do businesses are done for profits, profit generation. So profit is the biggest motive. Money is the biggest motive for most of the businesses. So I hope you'll understand the steps in setting up. The preliminary stage. This is a stage which is before the planning. Then how you look out for a location and a site. You see whether the power supply is there, water supply is there, finances are there in place. Banks are giving me facilities for repayments. My workers are very well available so that they can reach out. Transportation is not an issue. Licenses are procured, wherein I am permitted to start off my industry in that particular locality, because there are certain economic zones, no zones where is no industry zone where you can't set up an industry. So you have to look into that aspect also. Training of workers which you have in hand, what is going to be their wages, what wages are you going to provide them as per their training. The raw materials, is it next to the raw materials? If not, can I afford to have my industry which is set up a little away from the raw materials? Then marketing, how am I going to market it? What are the investments required for my marketing? And lastly, biggest biggest and the most important factor is profits. After all of this, what I do, am I going to get anything in return? Problems faced: faulty planning, internal problems, poor project implementation, as I said, poor management. If there's no management, there'll be a problem. Inadequate finance problems, if finance is not available on time, or the chain of finances and credits, you lose out on those. You can't function properly. Labor problems, there are trade unions, all of those. So there are problems persisting to pertaining to these laborers also. Now, what are the external problems? The location is a little away, or location is not suitable. The weather, climate, temperature is sometimes not suitable, and sometimes you don't take into consideration also what all problems can these cause. Power problems, as I said, you to set up an industry, you need to have power and water supply. This was right in the beginning. The inputs, the market problems. Now, have I targeted the right market? Is this my market, and is it reaching the consumers? Are they really appreciating it? What is the feedback? The government policies as per your industries. All the industries, whatever we have come up with, they have their own policies. So the policies, uh, their policies pertaining to these industries have to be in line or in sync, or else the industry suffers. Finance: entrepreneurs are forced to borrow from money lenders at high rate of interest, as institutional finance is not available due to their lack of creditworthiness. In competition with large-scale sector, this sector fails to corner adequate qualitative raw material. Now, compared to large, it's always compared and in competition with large-scale sectors. So there is inadequate, and the quality is a little low. Underutilization of capacity to the extent of 40 to 50%. This is one of the other problems of small sector industries. Not having information about changing technologies. Now, if you have low investments, you don't have the money to invest in high technology. If you have the knowledge also, you don't have the proper channels to reach out to these people and buy these machinery. The consumer taste, marketing is not done properly. Bottlenecks of infrastructure like power, transportation, lack of network facility. There's no proper chain of network, so that also is a problem. Lack of skilled manpower. Sometimes you need skilled manpower, but because of shortage of money, you can't train them. So the quality of people working in the industry also create problems. Managerial inadequacies, like demand vision, aptitude, lack of training, and poor project planning. So these all, what all I have spoken about is the small scale industries. Small scale industries, we've spoken about the advantages, the need, the importance, the stages, what is the scope, what is the objective of starting these small scale industries, and more so what are the issues what one faces when you are starting up an industry. You have to face the government, you have to face the uh, laborers via unions, you have to have take the physical factors, the climate, the temperature, you have to face the finances. So there are a whole lot of things, and every aspect of this, if it's not done in a proper way or you don't have it nicely with you and it's not smooth, a small sector industry becomes a big failure because it cannot survive, as the investments are, though they are low, but the returns are much lower than the investments. So for this industry to survive, it needs all these things in place.